I'm Roy Lee Lindsay with the North Carolina Pork Council, and I want everyone to remember bacon makes everything better.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the David Glenn Show, now seen and heard exclusively here on the North Carolina Sports Network. Our next guest has been one of the top college basketball players in the state of North Carolina again this season, and he is among the best players in the history of UNC Asheville basketball. During his 3 seasons with the Bulldogs, after beginning his college career at the University of Tennessee, Drew Pember has been a first-team All-Big South selection all 3 years, and just this week, he also was recognized with his second straight Conference Player of the Year honor. Last season, he became the first guy in Big South history to be named Preseason Player of the Year, Defensive Player of the Year, and Tournament Most Valuable Player as he led the Bulldogs to just their 5th ever NCAA tournament bid. UNC Asheville and High Point University are the favorites in this year's Big South tournament, which is taking place this week at High Point with the league's automatic NCAA tournament bid up for grabs in that title game on Sunday afternoon. Drew Pember, welcome to the David Glenn Show and the North Carolina Sports Network. How are you, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Appreciate the modest introduction. That was a little too much, but thank you.
Hey, man, I've heard you're a modest guy, so if you're not going to say it, I got to say it for you. But let's start with this crazy part of your story. How does a guy who averaged only 3 minutes per game for Rick Barnes at Tennessee 3 years ago end up becoming one of the best players in UNC Asheville history and one of the best in Big South Conference history?
That goes into a lot. Prayer, the Lord, blood, sweat, tears, confidence, coaching staff, teammates. I mean, I could go down the line. When I first got to Asheville, all I wanted to do was, play about 15 minutes or so, and that was the plan. That's what we had decided. That's what I talked to Morrell about, and with the first summer, I just worked out, every morning, and we had breakfast club, and I just work pretty much. And I'm thankful for the situation that I'm in now, and looking back, I never would have thought that I would be here now, because I didn't even want to continue playing basketball at one point. So, I'm very thankful and very grateful for the path that the Lord put me on, and I'm grateful.
Most of us have not met your mom or dad, but we know that dad was a college basketball player. Mom was a college volleyball player. Since you are 6'11", I'm imagining there's some height in the family. You can share that with us. But how about a broader question, too, about Dad, Donnie, and Mom, Allison? What parts of your game or your personality do you think reflect Dad versus reflecting Mom?
So I'm actually going to bring up my sister first, because she considers me the black sheep of the family, that I'm not like anybody in my family. But so yes, okay. My dad's 6'9", my mom's 6 foot, my sister's 6 foot.
Okay.
But I've got an uncle that's 6'8", 6'4", grandfathers are 6'3". I've got there's height, all over my family. I think I haven't been asked this question before. So I'm a very sarcastic person. I love being around my people. I love enjoying the ones that love me, and so I get the sarcasm from my dad, and I think I get the relationship aspect from both. But both of my parents are very. I've been raised, as good as they come, and both my parents are role models for me, and I want to be like them. And when I start a family and choose to do so, I mean, I've gotten a lot from my. I think more just because my dad played basketball. He taught me how to shoot, and he coached me until I think 6th grade or something, and then it was kind of like he laid off a little bit. Or no, maybe it might have been late. I don't know. All my years are messed up. I've been playing for so long, but I didn't get the athleticism from my dad. I got the height. My mom was a little bit more athletic than my dad with the volleyball, and so my whole family's been around athletics my whole life. And my sister, She could have played, but she decided to just take a different route, and that was God's plan for her. But she could have played in college as well. She probably would have played. She probably could have been better than me, but don't tell her that. But yeah, I've got the Lord's blessed me with an unbelievable family.
Has Dad finally admitted, after 2 Conference Player of the Year awards, that you are officially the best athlete in the family?
Yeah, yes, he has. He's been saying that for a while. Every single time we bring it up, he's always like, I only got my college degree because I knew how to shoot a trailer 3, and that's what he's always told me. And I don't really consider that. My sister's hard. My sister's probably the most hard on me all the time because she's like, someone's got to keep you grounded while you're getting all these accolades and awards. And even though I don't care about them, but I do at the same time because they're nice recognitions and things like that. But she continues to keep me grounded, and she always talk a little trash to me. So I've got an unbelievable relationship with my family. They mean a lot to me.
One of the most inspirational parts of your story is that, of course, for those who don't know, Drew was a sensational state champion, amazing high school basketball player in Knoxville, Tennessee. But it's got to be a jolt to the system. You sign with the hometown Volunteers, and you just don't play much the first 2 years. I think there's a lot of guys halfway through college right now that would view you as an inspiration, given how your story has unfolded after 2 challenging years. But one weird wrinkle, and I wonder if you can revisit this, a high school teammate of yours, Trent Stepney, who's actually started a whole bunch of games for the UNC Asheville Bulldogs, obviously your great friend and teammate as we speak. I've read that he basically was like, hey, man, come here. We think your skill set fits. I love Asheville. I love Coach Morrell. Yeah. Was Trent like central to you ending up at Asheville?
Yeah, honestly, him and Woody Taylor, one of the assistants here. So obviously, Tennessee didn't work out because my work ethic, everything that went into playing hard and being a tough basketball player, I had no idea what it was. So Tennessee, and a lot of the things that people don't understand is, yes, my time at Tennessee wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it was at the same time because the Lord brought me to a place where I was like, okay, like I was rock bottom. I gotta go. The only way is up, and just trusting Him and just continuing to put the work in. And I took everything that I learned at Tennessee and brought it to Asheville. Now Trent, I have actually lived with him for 3 years. This is my 3rd year living with him. He's a pain in my butt, but he was one of the central. And I kept up with him a little bit when I was at Tennessee because whenever he would come home, we would talk, or I'd see him out, or we'd go eat, or things like that, or I'd play the game with him. And yeah, you're right. He was just kind of saying, we think you fit the system here. He was like, I love Coach Morrell. He's like, he's a really tough coach, but at the same time, he's like the ultimate encourager. And that's what I needed. To help build my confidence back up. And Woody, I remember I was on the phone with Woody. I think we had like a 2-hour phone call, or maybe it was at like 12 at night till like 2 in the morning, just talking about life. It wasn't even about basketball, and it wasn't even about, you need to do this, that, and the third. And that's what I'm excited for my son, because now I can kind of show him that, a relationship with a coach does mean a lot. It's not always going to be about X's and O's. It's about the relationship that you have with your coaches. And that's what those were one of the things that I wanted as I moved to Asheville. And Trent was just harping on how important it was for him and how much he loved it. And, he's my best friend. So why would I not take his advice?
One of my favorite restaurants in Raleigh for many years now has been The Oak, Scratch Kitchen and Bourbon Bar. It's located on Lake Boone Trail, which is a perfect location for a great meal and beverage if you're on your way to nearby Carter Finley Stadium or perhaps PNC Arena for a concert, Wolfpack or Hurricanes game, or other event. The menu is incredibly tasty and creative. The atmosphere is a lot of fun. The bourbon options are as high-end and varied as you'll find anywhere. The staff is super classy and first-rate, and I've just always loved the people, the food, and the overall vibe there. When I took Carolina Hurricanes owner Tom Dundon to lunch, yes, meaning the billionaire who owns the hockey team, I took him to The Oak. Seriously, it's that good. Learn more or make a reservation by visiting their website, theoakraleigh.com. That's theoakraleigh.com. Drew Pember is joining us on the David Glenn Show. Remember, you can catch him in action this week at the Big South Tournament. The Bulldogs are the co-favorites, I guess, with the High Point Panthers. Two amazing teams, obviously both located right here in the great state of North Carolina as March Madness continues. Every athlete can identify with the idea of wanting more playing time. I mean, you know, as a middle school basketball player, I remembered wanting more playing time. The trickier part of your story, Coach Morrell used the phrase that he thought Drew needed to fall in love with basketball again. What ultimately helped you fall back in love with basketball?
Man, that's a deep question. I haven't been asked this one. Hey, you're coming up with some good
why I'm a
questions.
pro, Drew.
Yeah, you're coming up with some good
37
questions.
years.
Okay. Hey, okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Confidence, man. That was probably one of the biggest things because when I got here, I just didn't know, I didn't know a lot. Just putting in work every day. That's just, that's what it took, and I was, happy to do it. And Woody was with me every morning. He's with me every night. He's with me doing extra film, extra shots, all that stuff. And that's basically that's basically all it took.
It's amazing what can happen when somebody believes in you.
Yeah.
Like it can lead to you rediscovering your belief in yourself.
And it even took Coach Morrell a little minute because he knew how, messed up I was whenever I got to Asheville. It took him a while for him to start being, hard as he is on me now, because when I first got here, he didn't want to keep breaking it and keep breaking it. So he was just, everybody in our program has been a shoulder to lean on. You can count on anybody from, Coach Morrell all the way down to, Elijah Sherrod, who's one of the best managers in the country. So having a shoulder to lean on and someone, it's not, and it was just about the relationships. And when you have that type of relationship where you can just bond with your coaches and with your teammates, everything else just falls into place. And, obviously winning has something to do with that too.
Yeah.
Playing, more, seeing, the fruits of your labor, you're making shots and, things like that, and helping the team out. And that's basically all that I wanted to do. So as the, snowball continued to roll and it continued to get bigger and I had a bigger role, and then, here I am, and, I'm very thankful for that.
I'll tell you what, man, as someone who was taken aback by that question, that's a pro answer right there. That was a deep answer. So you must quit. You not only think quickly on your feet as a basketball player, that's a really, really good answer. I appreciate you sharing all that. I have read that you are definitely not an individual numbers guy. So I'm going to share with our audience just a couple of numbers. And then at the end, you can say if they mean anything to you, but also how do you kind of measure yourself? Mm-hmm. If it's not in the numbers, give us that broader sense. But I just want folks to know there's only 4 guys in our state who averaged 20 or more points per game this season. A guy like RJ Davis at UNC is one of them. Our guest, Drew Pember, is another of them. RJ was our guest on the David Glenn Show earlier this year. You also are the only player in the history of the Big South Conference with more than 1,800 points, more than 700 rebounds, and more than 200 blocked shots. I mean, that's an insane combination of numbers. So just give us that sense. I'm sure you glance at stats to measure your progress, so it has to have some meaning. But what else are you looking at as you're measuring yourself?
So what I've been focused on a lot this year has been, statistics are obviously important. So my free throw percentage was one of those, rebounding, and my assist to turnover ratio. Last year was new for me in the sense of getting double teamed for most of my games. And yes, while it is frustrating, it brings me a lot of joy because I love seeing my teammates succeed. So while I get, 4 assists, whatever the case may be, 8 rebounds, 15 plus points, I don't for me to have a good game, I need to be locked in on defense, moving shots, talking, being a good teammate. There's so many more things for me individually than just stats, because stats come with just my role and how hard the coaches push me to play, how what I need to do for my teammates, what I need to do for our team to win. So yes, the statistics do come, and that's not, I'm thankful for that. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not fun scoring 20 points a game. Like, I
Yeah.
would be lying if I told you that that wasn't fun. But just getting other guys involved. The way that I'm guarded. So if they're tight on me and I set a screen, I can get Fletch open, I can get Josh open. Like, if there's a double team, or if I see a man step up, I can throw a lob to Tay or dump it down to Nick. Like, if I set a good screen here for CB, like, he can get downhill. I can get Doc and Trent shot. Like, there's just so many more. There's so much more than just numbers for me personally. And I love getting people involved. I love getting my teammates involved. I love diving on the floor. Um, I got beats and bangs and bruises. Right now, my whole elbows, swollen from diving on the floor. And, I love it. And I love, each of those battles. And, every day, just bonding with my teammates is also one of the things that I like. It's not a numbers thing, but that's like really important to me. Like, I like knowing their personal background, what they come from. I'll ask them, do you like the ball here? You like it there? Like, what do you want me to do? And I think that has helped me as a leader, as well as a friend and a brother, and just someone that, hopefully my teammates, 50 years down the road, 40 years, they can say, that they relied on me. And that's really all that matters to me.
I caught most of those references. For those who didn't, Fletcher AB is a big-time shooter on the wing.
Yeah.
Josh Banks just got some all Big South recognition this week. Trent, of course, is Trent Stephanie from an older friend and one of those lifelong brothers for Drew back to his high school days. You just used the word thankful, which you use a lot, which is cool, given your faith and otherwise. I was like blown away when you used the word thankful last spring. You guys made the NCAA tournament, which is easy to understand, thankful, and you got crushed by UCLA.
Thankful.
And you used the word thankful about the margin of victory, which just sounded a little strange.
Yeah.
Now, I can imagine how you've channeled that negativity into something positive. I assume that's what you meant by thankful, that it was Bruins 80-something and you guys 50.
Yeah, I remember. So I remember that game was a living nightmare. Obviously, I've revisited that a couple of times, but I remember in the line I was shaking, Coach Cronin's hand, Hami's hand, and Tiger's hand. I was like, thank you for busting my ass.
Wow.
Like, thank you for really showing me like the difference. And, it took a lot of soul searching, a lot of, it's not this big spiritual journey, but that happening has helped my experience so much, because you need to get punched in the mouth. Like, you need to, and that was one of the reasons I came back to Asheville, was because I wanted to go back to the tournament and try and do that to somebody else. And so having that experience has, fueled, the guys that are returning, and because the new guys can feel that. And it's fueled us this year. And it's completely redeveloped my approach to a game. Like, stop waiting, like, punch first, like, be aggressive, like, as soon as the ball tips. And that's what I've been trying to incorporate to my game, and that's what I've been trying to get everybody to do. And we've done a better job with that this year. And so hopefully it'll carry over this weekend, and hopefully we can make it back.
Drew, before we let you go, I want to get your mindset on getting to the free throw line, which is not a question I would ask very often of any guest. But Purdue has an All-American center named Zach Edey that everybody has seen. He is number one in the nation in trips to the free throw line, and I think free throws made as well. You're in the top 5 in the entire country, and you shoot 85% from the line in that neighborhood for your career, I think, which not a lot of big guys do. We're used to the guards. R.J. Davis is close to 90%. We're not used to big guys. Like Shaquille O'Neal will tell us he was happy at 50% sometimes.
Yeah.
How early in your basketball development did you add just being a brilliant shooter to your arsenal? Because some big guys are told to go, stay down low near the basket. And then what is your mindset about? I mean, do you like getting to the line? Do you have a routine where you just feel like it's going to go in almost every time?
So when I was younger, I didn't hit my growth spurts until my sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
So all the time before, I was literally just a shooter. I couldn't dribble, couldn't jump, I couldn't do anything except just shoot. Like that's all I could do. So I just go outside and just shoot. And and I would work on guard stuff. I'd work on being fluid with the ball and movements, and then the growth spurt just hit, and I was like, okay, I could keep doing what I've been doing. All I would have to do is just change because I used to shoot from my hip. I think my freshman year, my dad told me, he was like, you need to get it up. You need to get it above your shoulders. And I was like, okay, because my dad's jumper is pretty, he's got a beautiful jump shot. And so I just kept shooting. And when I got to Tennessee, I used to do 1, 2, 3, spin it, hold, go down, and then shoot it. And then Coach Lentz, he's still there. And he was like, all you need to do is take one dribble. So I just started taking one dribble and shooting it, and it just felt good. So I was like, okay, I might as well just keep shooting. And that carried over, and now it's all about muscle memory. And I think, I'll always, whenever I work out, I always end with 10 in a row, and before the games, even before, I'll go out there, and if I don't make 10 in a row before the game, I'll shoot 25. But if I make 10 in a row, I'll just go to spot shooting for threes. And so during the games, I try to use, I'm not going to be as athletic as some guys. I'm not as big. I'm still I'm not scrawny, but I've added a little bit of weight. I'm not where I would like to be yet. But, my mind is Coach Merrill tells me all the time, my mind is my greatest asset, just with, how smart I am on the basketball court with the IQ and things like that. So I just try to use the defense against them. I try to, shot fake and, get, if I got a smaller guy, go quicker. If I got a bigger guy, I can just go, there's so many things that I can do just, and that also helps with my teammates too, because, there's the floor spread, and it's going to be one, sometimes teams don't help off of Fletcher. They don't help off of Josh, and it's just me one-on-one. So if I can just, get them in the air, get foul call, get fouls drawn, 2 points at the free throw line is, it's on a good day, I probably will only miss, 1 or 2, and hopefully, I don't miss any at all. But that's my approach is, try and if I'm getting to the line, that means I'm being aggressive. That means, that's what Coach Merrill wants. He's, against Radford, he set a goal. He's like, I want 8 free throws and a half or in the first half. And, it didn't happen, but I got layups at the rim. I was being physical. That's what he wanted from me. And that's, and if I'm getting fouls drawn, that means I'm being aggressive. So that's part of what I try to do as my role in the team, and, what helps us win. That's just a part of it.
Whether you are moving locally, nationally, or even internationally, and whether you're a residential or commercial customer, please consider our friends at XL Moving and Storage, an award-winning Allied Van Lines agent with offices in Greensboro and Raleigh. Thanks to their 25 years of experience helping North Carolinians all across the state with their moving and storage needs, XL has become the trusted hometown North Carolina moving services company. Our good friends Jim Dorsett and Jody Hatley, along with their hardworking staff, offer customized, tailored relocation and storage solutions to the people of North Carolina and beyond. Visit them online today at xlms.com. That's EXCELMS.com. For those who haven't seen Drew play, you got to do it this week. I mean, the guy is an elite scorer. He is an elite shot blocker. He actually has passed out more than 100 assists this season while cutting his turnovers, which is just not something you see from big guys very often. 85% from the line, close to that for his career. 37 or so percent from three-point land, one of the reasons he's on the NBA radar. As we thank you for your time, Drew, and let you go, I mean, I could interview for a long time, but I'm not going to do that. If I asked you, regardless of how things go at the Big South tournament, obviously you're out of eligibility, regardless of the ending here, how would you like to be remembered by UNC Asheville fans or Coach Morrell or these brothers that you've bonded with over some portion of these last 3 years?
That's a good question too. I'd probably say
it's a deep one.
Just someone that's reliable, someone that loved them, wanted to do anything for them. Didn't matter what mood I was in, how it's going for me. Just someone that's just a winner on and off the court. And when I say winner, I don't mean winning games or winning, practices, or I mean, being good in a classroom, picking guys up if they need a ride, taking out the trash for my roommates, doing the dishes, like all the little things that go into life other than basketball. Like I understand that, and I don't want to sound arrogant when I say this, but I do understand that like I will go down as, one of the best players in Asheville history, but like that's basketball. Like that's a completely different side than who I am as a person. And so I just want to be remembered as somebody, that loves the Lord, loves his, teammates, his family, just cared about people. And, I get very not uptight, but I get very riled up and excited because the people that are around me, I just love them to death. Like if you're in my circle, like I got you for life. Like the teammates that I've had, even at Tennessee, I still talk to them. I still love them. I have no quarrels with them. Like we don't have any, beef, if you want to call it, or anything like that. If you're in my circle, just know that I got you. And I just wanted to be, I want to be looked at as someone that, was always reliable.
Good for you, man. That sounds like a hell of a foundation. Wherever you go in basketball, wherever you go in life, that sounds like a bunch of cornerstones right there. Congratulations on your success. We in the media are not supposed to root for anybody, but I am going to be rooting for you at the tournament, this week's tournament, and hopefully that other tournament as well. But I've enjoyed watching you from afar, and it's been a lot of fun to just get to know you a little bit here on the David Glenn Show. So thank you for your time, and good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
You got it. That is Drew Pember. Watch him this week at High Point in the Big South tournament, and hopefully the big dance after that. Thanks to all of you across North Carolina and beyond for joining us today on the David Glenn Show and the North Carolina Sports Network.